What's going on, everybody? Alex here from the Football Guys, here to talk about the 2022 outlook for DeAndre Swift. So DeAndre Swift finishes the running back 16, playing just 13 out of 17 games last year. And we have to get it out of the way. The biggest concern with DeAndre Swift is his injuries. It's not Jamal Williams. We have to be a little bit concerned about Swift's injuries, but how concerned? The first year, he missed 3 games. This past year, he missed 4 games, playing 13 out of 17. And there's a narrative going around right now that he cannot ever stay healthy. But is that really true? I mean, so I looked into his injury history a little bit more, and between college and the NFL, he had not ever had a super crazy injury history. In college and the NFL, he's each had a shoulder sprain once and a groin strain once, one each. So 2 groin strains, 2 shoulder strains. And in his rookie year, he missed 2 games because of a concussion. Groin strains are obviously a little bit concerning because you don't know how well, like Will Fuller with his hamstrings, how will it always affect him every year. But DeAndre Swift did have a groin strain in training camp this year, did not miss a single game because of his groin all year, which is good to note. But those aren't fun. But obviously, DeAndre Swift never missed significant time. He never had an Achilles or an ACL or like a torn pectoral where he missed the whole season. He just missed a couple games every year. And I think there's this narrative going around now that this guy can't ever stay healthy when he's had pretty minor injuries, considering he's never missed more than 3 or 4 games at once. But DeAndre Swift is a guy that I think has so much potential that I'm willing to look past his injury history in 2022. And I think his potential is as high as a top 5 running back. But why, you ask? And that's because, first, there's a lot of narratives with DeAndre Swift that people don't realize. One is his snaps. People were acting like Jamal Williams was out playing him snap-wise all the time last year, when in reality, DeAndre Swift was 8th in the NFL in snap percentage at 67% of the snaps. Only 7 running backs were higher than him in snaps. The second best in the NFL was Joe Mixon, who had 74%. Only a 7% difference between DeAndre Swift and second best in the entire NFL in snap percentage. So I don't think the narrative that DeAndre Swift isn't a bell cow or can never be a bell cow is very true when he was very close to playing as much snaps as any running back in the entire NFL. But the exciting snaps, the exciting stats are really what draws me to DeAndre Swift. First of all, last year before he got hurt going into week 12, he was second in the NFL in weighted opportunity before he got hurt, which is carries plus targets, but targets are worth more than carries, obviously, because they're PPR points in a PPR league. Weighted opportunity is worth a little bit more. Second in the entire NFL in weighted opportunity. It's not total touches, it's carries plus targets that are worth more total. He was also third among all running backs in target share, second among all running backs in route percentage, and second in yards created per touch. All amazing stats. Target share. He's getting a lot of the targets when he's on the field, and he's also running a lot of routes. It's exactly what you want when the number 1 running back going into last year, this before Jonathan Taylor, was averaging 87 catches per season when they finished the running back 1 overall. Swift checks that box. He was also second in yards created per touch. This is how much extra, he's creating by himself, whether off of a pass, off of a catch, extra yards that he's creating, which is exactly a stat that is very predictive of future success in fantasy football and regular football. But if you don't like what he did last year, how about the context of coming into the NFL for DeAndre Swift? He was one of 7 running backs to earn a 6.7 or higher grade from Lance Zierlein's running back grades. The other 6 to finish above him in running back grade: Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, Melvin Gordon, and Todd Gurley. That is how high DeAndre Swift was graded. So either he's a severe outlier or he is a really, really good running back. 5 of the other 6 running backs that I named hit a top 8 fantasy season in their first 2 years. The only guy to not do it was Dalvin Cook because of injuries, getting hurt, tearing his ACL as a rookie, and then missing some games with a hamstring injury his second year because of the ACL likely. That means that DeAndre Swift is pretty guaranteed to hit a top 8 season at some point, and all these guys did it in their first 2 years. Swift is beyond their first 2 years. What did Dalvin Cook do as the only running back that didn't do it? He hit a top 8 season in his 3rd year. Here's another stat if you don't like that. This is a stat from Jacob Gibbs of Sportsline. Since 2017, there were 3 running backs that were targeted on at least 23% of their routes and were 21 years old or younger: Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and DeAndre Swift. Obviously, Swift is over 21 now, but that was the stat after his rookie year. Anytime you're in a stat category where it's you and 2 running backs that have finished as top 2 fantasy football running backs, there's obviously huge potential. But don't forget, DeAndre Swift's potential is great, but there's obviously the free agency and the draft this year, which could obviously change things. But DeAndre Swift is a guy that I'm willing to bet on every single day of the week because of what he did last year, the historical context of how he was graded, and what he did last year before he got hurt. All signs are pointing up for DeAndre Swift besides injuries going into 2022. So please, please, please go draft him. But as always, keep enjoying content from the Football Guys each and every day. And don't forget to turn that bell notifications on because there are new videos coming out all the time. So keep enjoying them every single day.